Carly, Pope Francis became pope in a unique way. Typically, a pope is succeeded after death. In this case, it followed the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI, which was a major historical moment. Jonathan Morris. I remember getting a call from Fox News asking if it was really true that Pope Benedict was resigning. It was that unprecedented. He had said he would step down if necessary, and eventually he did. Naturally, when Pope Francis's health began to decline, people wondered if he might do the same. He did say he was open to it if it were best for the Church. But in the end, he chose to remain in his role, and I think many are grateful he did. Even among those who disagreed with some of his more progressive approaches, especially after years of more conservative papal leadership, few could question the simplicity and sincerity of his life. He was a pope of humility and service. Carly, and just yesterday, we reported that Senator J.D. Vance met with Pope Francis. There was an exchange of views, especially around topics like migrants, refugees, and prisoners. We can guess those discussions included some ideological differences. Jonathan Morris. Yes, and I think it's important to recognize the Pope's focus on caring for the poor, immigrants, and the imprisoned. Those values are deeply rooted in Christian teaching. The Beatitudes speak directly to that. While it's up to political leaders like Senator Vance or President Trump to create policy, which is always complex, the Catholic Church allows for diverse opinions on how best to apply timeless moral principles in real-world governance. It's encouraging that this meeting happened. J.D. Vance, a convert to Catholicism in 2019, was invited by Pope Francis himself. That says a lot. It was a meaningful and respectful exchange. Carly, it really was. Thank you, Jonathan, for helping us unpack and reflect on this momentous news.
Carly, Jonathan Morris joins me now. It's truly remarkable. Pope Francis passed away just a day after Easter, shortly after giving a blessing from St. Peter's. He even rode through the square, the first time since his hospitalization, and met with Senator J.D. Vance. Jonathan Morris. Yes, Carly. It reminds me of the final weeks leading up to the death of Pope John Paul II. Many people remember him as a beloved figure, not just for Catholics, but also for Protestants and evangelicals, who saw him as a great leader. He was hospitalized twice before he passed, but he left the hospital, returned to the Vatican, and allowed the world to witness his final days. He taught us it's okay to be sick, to grow old, and, in the Christian tradition, to prepare for new life beyond this one. Pope Francis also worked incredibly hard to leave the hospital. According to doctors, he faced 2 life-threatening moments but managed to recover. Despite their advice to avoid public gatherings for at least 2 months, he returned to St. Peter's Square, rode through in the Pope-mobile, greeted the faithful, and just hours later, he met his Lord and Savior, Carly. And just before Holy Week, he met with prisoners. Being told to stay away from people must have been impossible for him. Reaching out to the sick and the marginalized was central to his identity as Pope. There are important traditions that follow the death of a Pope. What happens next in the days and weeks ahead? Jonathan Morris. The Vatican follows a very strict protocol. Early this morning, the Camerlengo officially announced Pope Francis's death. The Camerlengo then goes to the Pope's residence. In this case, not the papal apartments, but the guest house where Francis chose to live, and seals his private quarters. Carly, he chose that more humble living arrangement when he became Pope, didn't he? Jonathan Morris. Exactly. He lived in what's essentially a simple hotel room. The Camerlengo ensures that no documents are touched, and that the Pope is treated with respect, including no unauthorized photos. From there, the College of Cardinals, many of whom were appointed by Francis, will oversee the day-to-day operations of the Church. No major decisions are made during this period. Even the Secretary of State must step aside from normal duties. This is a deeply structured process, designed to ensure no one wields undue influence before a new Pope is elected.